Hello friends, we are sure all of you have been mesmerized by winged beauties called airplanes. But ever wondered how these metal birds take to the skies? Ever spent a thought on where the fuel tanks of these aircrafts are located? Have you also nursed thoughts of owning one of them? Of course, if you do, go ahead and buy them. Where would you actually park them? Planes are a scientific marvel. So many scientific theories are in tandem for a plane to take off. In this episode, we will try to simplify things for you to understand things better. When a plane is taxiing, it is just like another locomotive. Probably you can compare it to an auto as well. When the aircraft is actually taking off, it is the engine that propels it. But the role of the engine is limited to it. It does not help the aircraft soar into the skies. The flight is made airborne with the help of what is called airfoils. As pilot presses them downward, oncoming air gets deflected. This phenomenon is called downwash. The elevator in the tail is also lifted. It is also interesting to note that an angle of 15 degrees is maintained as the metal bird makes its way into the skies. The engines used in the aircrafts are called turbofan engines. The more fuel it uses and the more rotation it includes, the aircraft attains greater speed. But ever wonder as to where the engines draw their fuel from? As surprising as it gets, fuel tanks are placed in the wings of the aircraft. But moving to a greater question, how does a flight sustain itself mid-air? The thrust which keeps it in air in which the flight is moving is equal to the drag. There is another thing called lift which is equal to the aircraft mass. All these forces will help the aircraft maintain itself in air. Moving on further, how does an aircraft changes its direction? You would have seen vehicles on roads taking U-turns by climbing dividers also. But can a flight do the same? Simple answer is no. There is something called ailerons on the flight. They are placed on the edges of the wings. While one aileron lifted upwards, the other is pushed downwards. By doing this, pilot rolls the plane. The rudder in the tail is also turned, therefore helping the flight to take a turn of its own choice. The direction of the flight when it lands is called descent. The face of the plane is tilted downwards while the tail is in an elevated position. The speed of the flight reduces and the wheels roll out. As the plane touches down, it does not come to a sudden or abrupt halt. It has to travel to a certain distance. Spoiler in the wings of the aircraft are lifted to attain reverse thrust. In simple terms, reverse thrust can be roughly understood as a force to stop the aircraft from moving forward. The covers of the engine are two opened, which add to the stopping effect of the aircraft. This is how a plane functions, but do you fancy your chances of winning one? Well, you certainly can, but you must have anywhere between $2.2 million to $70 million. A small plane with a seating capacity of 4 can cost you around $2.2 million. Huge Airbuses can cost you more than $100 million. But where do you park them if you buy it? Certainly not in front of your houses. You have to park them in airports, spending hundreds of dollars per hour basis. And don't forget that you have to pay the pilot in millions. So these winged beauties can awe you, but owning them will certainly require you to be filthy rich and crazy. Thank you so much for watching.